All right, it's 5 o'clock. Don't sit down. We're gonna start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We want to get this meeting going. We have a little bit of an agenda. So, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic.
To the republic for which it stands.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, all members are present. Some, even though it's Wednesday, they're here. Jesus. That
Tomorrow's going to be a great day for you guys.
be a new one. Tuesday at 5 and it's Jane's attending and it's Wednesday. All right. So any comments from the public? I know there are agenda items, so good. Yep. Jane, do you have anything? We'll turn to you first.
No, just excited about it's Sunday, the street party. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. I'll say it right now. There's an incredible team that goes behind that. We have meetings every 2 weeks for months. And we have everybody show up. It's 10 to 15 people every meeting. Every meeting we accomplish something. There's something new that comes up. There's a different idea. There's just a lot that goes into it. We have people donating generators this year. The guy who services all the generators in town is donating a generator, 3 generators, quiet generators. And they're actually going to run the main stage. I don't know if you know this. Also, the chief is friendly with a guy who owns a tree company. And apparently he has one of those massive American flags.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to hang that at the north end of Main Street. That'll be one of the entrances. So that's going to be there. You saw my weekly update, my monthly update. I did WPLR this morning in New Haven. I was on the Chaz and AJ show. I've never heard it, but I was on it. They had a little fun with my name. Mayonnaise is Fortuna. That was like that was like one of their jokes. I was like, I've heard that before. But anyway, it was good promotion. Tomorrow I'll be on with Mindy Kays on Channel 8 in the morning at 9 a.m. And then Thursday morning, Channel 3 with Dan Adams from Fox Farm and someone from Penny Lane Pub. So we're doing those 2 appearances. So a lot of promotion. We'll be doing some reels with our creative design team this week to kind of get the word out, but I think we're gonna have a really good crowd. The weather actually looks really good. It doesn't look hot. It looks kind of like mid-70s. So it's really shaping up. But a lot going on, a lot of moving parts to that. But it should be a really great event. Anything else, Jane?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Got it?
I saw your update. I encourage people to log on and check that out. I think it's an outstanding few minutes where you fill people in on what's going on, and I think that's a good way to keep abreast of what's happening.
And one of the things I say in there is for people to join the list where you can get push notifications. We really want to encourage more people to sign up for that so they know what's going on in town. I'll give you a couple updates. Route 1 is mostly done. There's some line striping that needs to be done, but those sidewalks are pretty much complete. As long as we can get some grass to grow, that'd be a good thing. The rain should help. There's going to be some trees planted in front of that, the yellow building there that has a dental office in it. There were trees that were cut down there, and we're going to be replanting some trees there. But that project came out really well. The Main Street project, you guys have all, Jane, you're gonna see some changes on Main Street when you get back. Most of all the parking stalls are done. They'll be restriped, the restriping of the parking spaces will be complete. Either Wednesday night or into Thursday, so that should be done. One of the crosswalks is complete,
I saw that.
and they'll be working on the other crosswalks, for the rest of the week.
So I had a question today. Every single stall was done except for like in front of Ace Hardware and one other one. And I wondered if they had opted out or,
No, they wouldn't have.
but, you know, cause maybe they had a brand new one, but it seems that everyone's black, 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 and then there's that.
Well, you mean, was it restriped or was it repaved?
Repaved.
It didn't need to be repaved.
Well, okay, and that was
Larry-
a statement I made to someone is that was just redone.
Yeah, it was redone. Under Larry Bonin, he did that about 5 or 6 years ago. And that pavement's perfect there, if you look at it. So it didn't need to be redone. So anyway, Main Street's really shaping up, in really good shape, coincidentally, for Sunday. Just things are finishing up. The seawall project is, down at Saybrook Point is moving along. They are digging behind the seawall. The company was raring to go and, they're out there and we have a signed contract and they're going and they're gonna work hard over the next 2-3 months to get that done. I wanna tell you both that, we had a pre-proposal meeting for landscape architecture for Saybrook for the Dock and Dive property. So I think we've talked about this. Once we acquire it, we want to bring in a landscape architect to really work on that property and make it I think we've talked about this, the most beautiful park that it can be, right? We had, we had a pre-bid meeting that was not mandatory at the Vicky Duffy Pavilion today. And we had 20 landscape architect teams show up. That's huge. That's like an incredible amount. And that's not everybody who's interested. I did talk to one of the landscape architects after, and he said, you realize that you have the 3 largest firms in North America at this meeting today. And one was an international company called Sasaki. He said, you have like every player in the United States you need at this meeting, which was, I'm a little bit befuddled by that, but I think it's neat that there's that much interest in it. We pushed the bid date to July 21. It was originally June 30th. We're not ready. There were a lot of questions. I've already answered 30 questions from all the bidders. We're going to be posting those questions. We're also posting some additional information. So we thought it only fair that we give additional time for people to bid on this project. In addition to that, the closing of the Dock and Dine property probably isn't going to happen September 1. It's probably looking more like October 1. So we're not in any mad rush. Chris, would you agree with that?
Great.
They're a little bit behind. So we have time on this, but we want to do it right. We want to do it once, but we have incredible interest. In addition to that, the Ferry Road project, rebuilding Ferry Road soccer field, has over 30 interested bidders right now on a pre-bid list. There was a meeting today, also not mandatory, but the plan holder list, which is the folks who have requested documents, is about 30 at this point. It might be more. Phenomenal interest. I don't know if that's indicative of construction is slow, not as much money out there. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, a lot of interest in all our projects, which is good. That's good, and should be fun to see how it all comes together. All right, why don't we move on to Jane?
So Carl, who's gonna review the proposals that come in from the landscape companies?
Yeah, we're gonna actually, we could do it today, but we could do it at a later meeting. We're going to have 3 members from the Park and Rec Commission, 1 member from the Planning Commission, and 1 member from the Economic Development Commission. So 5 people. Ray Allen, Jennifer Donahue, and I will be ex officio. That is the plan at this point.
Okay.
I believe Nancy Gatta, Rob Lemire, and I'm forgetting who else. One other person,
Susan,
Susan,
Ashley,
no, she's not.
Star?
And then- Might be Star, it might be Star. And then Michael Bender from planning, and then from Nick Prevost from economic development. That's a really good group, right, Nick?
Yes.
Good group.
Good group. Looking forward to it.
Nick's on it, so it's a good group. Yeah, I didn't want to make it, we're gonna winnow it down to 3 and then we'll winnow it down to 1, but it's gonna be a difficult process for sure, because there's so much interest. I wanna also go over with you the schedule for where we're gonna be with bonding with the Kate and the DPW garage. So on July 14th, we are gonna have a meeting at 8:30 in the morning. And at that meeting, I'm going to have an agenda item that's going to recommend to the Board of Finance an amount to bond for 2 different projects. And I'm going to be requesting a vote on that day. Now, it will then go to the Board of Finance. They're gonna have a special meeting on July 28th to consider it. And then I already told them at their meeting last week, they don't need to vote on it July 28th. They can vote on it, they can hear it twice. They can hear it July 28th, then they can reconsider it on August 4th or August 18th, whichever meeting they have. If they want to vote on July 28th, they're more than welcome to. But that then leads to the Board of Selectmen will immediately convene, probably a special meeting, depending on when this happens, to recommend to town meeting, which will adjourn to referendum. So that is how it's gonna work. So you should plan on a meeting. If the Board of Finance votes on July 28th, we'll do it at a regular meeting. If they vote on August 18th, I might move it to a special meeting just to kick it, so we get the process rolling. The town meeting will be on September 9th. That's penciled in, not in ink yet. Waiting approval from the middle school. And then the referendum is scheduled for either September 22nd or September 29th. Trying not to interfere with election season. And I don't really want to roll this into October. There will be 2 questions. One for the DPW garage, one for the Cape. They will not be one question. They're very different projects.
all right, I'm
Yeah.
on July 14th, I'm out.
That's fine.
And so I'm very limited, and so if I have to be there, I
No,
can,
I
I
mean-
think, but I'm not so certain I can guarantee it,
I
but
think,
that's a good
that's
time.
okay. I mean, Jane and I will be there
Okay.
and Jane, if you and
That's
I.
a regular meeting, I think, right?
It
That's
is regular-
that's already on the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's okay. I mean, don't worry about it. So I just wanted to, I think it's really important. I gave the Board of Finance dates, and I wanted to give this board dates. I think that's really important, so that you have it in your head. We will be unveiling, and Jennifer's not here right now, but we will slowly be unveiling our new municipal brand very shortly. You know that we have a seal right now, the town seal, right there. That's usually blue and gold. That means nothing to everybody outside of this town. If you went up to someone in Deep River and said, "What's that?" They'd say, "I don't know." Most towns have a brand that is identifiable to that town, and we are working on that. It's something that's been being worked on for over a year. And that will be slowly rolled out over the next few months. It's really, we've had a committee work on that, and then we did 2 focus groups. So we've landed on something that I think is just really great for the town of Old Saybrook. All right, questions? If not, we will move on. Approval of the minutes from June 2nd, 2026.
I can make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it. Any changes, questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, thank you. Business before the board. Item A, presentation of the Housing Task Force report and findings on the town's affordable housing plan. And I think Nick Prevost, come on up, right? And by the way, this is a welcoming atmosphere. Everybody can sit around the table. What a welcome. And Lynette and Nina. Charlotte, if you'd like, you can, grab a seat over there, unless you're fine there, whatever. I mean, there's not enough people here to put people in the audience.
I believe you all have this,
We should,
have seen this,
You received a referral.
yeah,
okay, all right.
I mean, I saw it. Did you see it?
You did? Okay, great. And Jane, you've seen this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna go over the highlights. I'm not gonna read it because we'll be here for about 6 hours. Back in 2024, the Board of Selectmen established a task force. The Affordable Housing Task Force, and it consisted primarily of board and commission members and staffed by the town planner, Chris Costa. It included a representative from zoning, a representative from Fenwick, and the members of the planning commission. The 3 alternates from the planning commission were also alternate on the housing task force. One of the first things we did was a lot of education. We looked at affordable and fair housing, realities of workforce housing and financing for developers and home buyers, regional housing and Rivercog Regional Housing Committee, how we combine the both, so we're not doing 2 different things. Thriving communities, transit-oriented development, social services, an overview of housing needs, programs, and struggles of residents, which actually was an eye-opener for a lot of us to think that Old Saybrook struggles. So CFHA, Connecticut Housing Finance Authority overview on housing in Connecticut and the trends. Development successes and challenges from developers' perspective. Scott Desmond from Salt Island Properties, Jeff Hartman from Elm Tree Communities, and attorney Ed Casella participated in that. Connecticut Municipal Development Authority, MRDA, an overview of MRDA and how it can play
Now
Now
into
CMDA.
CMDA.
Oh,
It
it's
was
now,
MRDA.
oh, now it's CMDA, okay, I see that.
They didn't like MURDA.
Murder, so now they went to CMDA, which
Yeah.
sounds like
Yeah.
an over-the-counter drug. Let's see, building codes, an overview, by our own building, inspector, McElkee, and an update on Thrive. Work, Live, Ride from Desegregate Connecticut, now Pro Homes Connecticut. Affordable housing, from Maria DeMarco Management, which is very interesting and how that all gets calculated and what is really considered affordable. The zoning regulations overview and Q&A, that was led by none other than Chris Costa, who seems to understand that very well. So then from all that, we put together a number of goals and recommendations, and we completed a number of them. Establishment of the task force, establishment of a work plan.
I'm gonna interrupt. So that was from the Housing Task Force. So it started as the Affordable Housing Task Force, was from a previous committee. This group became the Affordable Housing Task Force, but they changed their name to the Housing Task Force because you felt the need was more. So these were the actions
Good point.
in the Affordable Housing Plan that was adopted in Carl, Matt Pugliese, and I forget who else was a member of the planning commission and zoning commission. We had 5 years to update the plan. So the housing task force ended up going through the actions. So these were the actions of the previous committee, just for some.
Right, but that's a valuable point, that it went from affordable to housing, to look at housing in all forms as opposed to just one segment.
Right.
And then create housing resource section on the town website where all our presentations and educational materials are held. We did some promotion of accessory dwelling units in the Main Street area. Also, there's 10 detached ADUs since adoption and 79 total permitted in Old Saybrook as of the writing of this document. Educational articles and Saybrook events about the housing task force and ADUs, accessory dwelling units. Creation of a housing survey. Survey closed on 10/1 of 2025 and is available for review on the website. Creation of 5 subcommittees of the housing task force to review the 21 to 26 affordable housing plan and how do we take it forward? How do we blend it into be encompassing of housing in general? And then planning a public outreach meeting to discuss the needs, and that was the survey, and consider incentives for affordable accessory apartments, cost analysis, tax abatement, deed restriction, tax incentive financing. And we've discussed that, but that's all we've done with that.
That's what?
We've only discussed that,
Right.
the incentives. What else? Remaining affordable housing goals and findings. Analysis of the delta between market rates and income restricted rates. Considering tax abatement programs for housing development within Mariners Way, the TIF district. Develop regulations to allow for existing property retrofit to allow for medium density housing. So converting some larger single families to 2 families, 3 families. Promote USDA and CHFA loan programs with the real estate community. And undertake an investigation about the conservation priorities and development potential of non-restricted municipal lands. The plan is up to be reworked. It's a 5-year plan, so 21 to 26. But with the adoption of some of the latest state regulations, they want to move it more to a regional plan. If I'm wrong.
So a town can do an independent plan, but there'd be a lot of work with it. Obviously, either way, it would be a lot of work, but the region is doing a regional plan, which will have sections for the towns. And it's a little bit different this time because the way they've restructured it, you have to have developable land, undevelopable land. When Carl and I and Matt were on the first committee, it was, what are our goals? What are our needs? There's a lot more to it. So rather than do all this on our own as a town, the idea was to partner with the region, use some of their resources, and our next affordable housing plan would be included with the regional housing plan with our own section. So when the housing task force was started, it was the educational section, and then learning, going through the actions in the plan, which Nick went over many of them between the zoning commission, planning commission, and other boards. A lot of the actions there were completed. And where we are right now is the housing task force was supposed to report to this board by the end of the year that they had completed the new affordable housing plan. However, now we're going into a regional housing plan. So one of the goals was to have a report to this board before we started the affordable housing plan. So this is really the report of findings to say, this is what the housing task force has done since they started. This is how it correlates with the actions and goals and the next step. So we're actually a little bit further ahead, I think, for the regional plan than some of the other towns, because we spent the last year and a half working on these, and this as a report of findings, next steps, and what's been achieved to date.
Right.
So how is it that we end up incorporating into the regional housing plan? How do we, like, how do they coordinate, what, nine, how many towns?
9,
Or is it, I mean, if it's the COG,
it's
it's,
Rivercog, yeah.
well, then that's 16. It includes Middletown, Portland, Cromwell. So we're gonna be in a plan with all those towns?
We'll have individual sections
Right.
because, again, they have sewers, we have septic, so.
So one of the hardest things for us to do as a municipality is, as part of the new plan, we'd be required to do a density analysis, which is easy for a town with sewers.
Right.
But where do we even start with no sewers, wetlands, floodplains, and so forth? So partnering with the region is gonna provide us with those resources, and they're working with the folks at the state, because it's very difficult, to figure out a density count when you don't know what those soils are.
Right.
So my understanding, working with the region, is that we're each gonna get our own kind of individual sections, because we're all different.
Yeah.
Obviously, Middletown is in a much different situation than Old Saybrook, but it would be more of a regional policy, and then each town would have its individual part.
Me. And I know we talk about housing a lot, and I can tell the board that behind the scenes, Chris and I probably almost once a week are having some sort of meeting and talking about housing, either amongst us or, between the two of us, or with other people. So it is always something on our plate, and something we are trying. In fact, Chris and I had a conversation about an hour ago about a parcel of land that we were contacted about recently that we're very excited about, actually. I don't know that that's anything we should talk about publicly.
I think it's pretty early.
Yeah. But it would provide some really great TOD housing, really great. And we think it's a strong possibility. So, I mean, we really try to encourage this, and certainly with the Mariners, we talked with Bruce Carlson on the Mariners Way committee quite a bit, in terms of trying to incent, and figure out where we're going. But I'm just, okay, so we did this, you guys did this, and now we just take this and go to the region. Is that kind of?
We're still learning how this is gonna
Yeah.
work, so.
It's still too new to really know.
So what happened was, every time there's a legislative session, as you know, something changes, whether we're doing a 5-year housing plan, this changes
Right.
new laws, the whole EA 25-1. So, the region with the affordable housing plan changes. We spoke with them. They're still learning because the deadlines are coming up so quickly. This could change at the next session. We really don't know. But to do the analysis needed, to continue, and we do have the option of doing our own independent plan. It just doesn't make sense when the region's doing a lot of that. But what Megan Juflis and I've been working with Eliza, they've kind of assured us that we will have our independent, sections, and they realize we're not Middletown, we're not Durham, we're all different. We have different infrastructure, we have different housing needs. Some of us are more supportive than others. So, Megan did reach out to Nick, and Brenda Dyson is also another regional member. And in the next month or so, Carl will be invited, I believe, to a meeting just to talk about how to kind of kick this off.
Right.
And then how it will work. I mean, we could opt out. I don't think it really is in our best interest. There's so much that the region is doing for us to reinvent the wheel and do it on our own.
I get that.
I think the resources that we gain from working with the region is better,
Always.
and it's, they can provide studies to us, and then as long as they give us our space. We need our individual little sections so that we can key in on the nuances of Old Saybrook that are different from the other areas.
And the goal of being in a regional plan. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is we've done this work, I mean, it's a plan, okay? It's a plan. It's not, what have you built? It's a plan.
Right.
Where do you think we're going from this to the region? I mean, what will the plan look like in, in 3 years with the region's assistance?
Okay.
Well, remember, this is a 5-year plan, so in 3 years, we'll start thinking about rewriting it again. So that's one of the, the issues with this, but I think from how it's been described by the region, what we've done in the past year and a half will be incorporated into our section of the plan, and there will be input from the town. I know it's a little bit different than what we've did the first round, but I think there's gonna be plenty of opportunity for Old Saybrook to have a voice in this and discuss our individual housing needs.
And I think it might help us, and this is me being a little naive, in getting the state to recognize the need for infrastructure down here to develop this housing, as opposed to just leaving it up to us to do.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Nick?
Yeah.
What was your comment?
Like I said, it's naive of me, and I acknowledge that. But I think it's time for the state to recognize the need to upgrade our infrastructure down here in order to increase either the density of our housing or where we put housing. When I look at the water situation for the condos that are going out on Essex Road, the water main's not that far from there. So why isn't the state kicking in the funding or mandating that the water company build out the water main type of thing? And again, that's naive, I know.
Yeah. And which housing are you talking about? At exit 2? You talking about that?
No, Whispering Winds,
Yeah,
or whatever the
yeah,
condo complex is.
Right. Is that being built? Is
Yes.
He started,
He is very close to he's just addressing the conditions of it.
How many units?
He was 16.
it's 12 or 16, yeah.
And how many units going in at the base of exit 2?
That's a contractor
Yeah,
storage
that's
facility.
storage.
Oh, I thought that was housing. Okay.
No.
Okay, Jane, go ahead.
So it's the one by the appliance place
Yeah.
that you're talking about?
So
Okay.
parcel-
So 16 there.
12 or 16.
12 or 16.
top of my-
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
But there's no plans for so they'll be on well water? Is that the plan
Correct.
right now?
Correct.
I know. That's, okay, and you're not looking for action today?
No, it was just a report
Yeah.
on our findings, and I think
That was outlined in the original housing task force.
Yeah, to report.
Charge to report,
right.
to go to the next steps.
Right,
The path has changed, but here's where we are today.
okay, and you'll let us know when I think the board would like to know when the region well, I'll know, I guess.
They've already reached out. I mean, they did go through, they hired IMEG to help us, kind of do some research for the zoning regs we had to get into place by July 1st for Public Act 25-1. So they were very helpful in getting that together and putting that information, and they're very interactive. I think they're just kind of going through, they have to get through these zoning reg changes because they're assisting all the towns who are interested. And then this will be the next focus in that.
I know Megan's very good,
Yes.
and she's very passionate.
Yes.
Yes. We're very fortunate to have her there.
I agree, I agree.
So we did, Nick and I and Brenda did get an email, that they would be reaching
Yeah.
out. So I would say maybe,
Okay,
in August, we should have some kind of a staff meeting, talk about, kind of the course of action, and then they're outlining a plan for us. I don't think they have the resources to attend every town's meeting
Yeah.
on this, so we'll have our strategy and we'll get it done.
That's right. Okay. Anything else from the board?
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
thank you. Conservation Commission, a presentation on the town's open space plan.
I'm signing in. Can I share my screen?
I don't know if you can. You're asking the wrong guy. That's usually a Larry Hayden thing.
Do you know how to promote two panelists?
Huh?
Do you know how to promote somebody two panelists?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Then you can share your screen.
Oh, okay.
You're making guest. Oh, somebody grabbed their phone when she's still in.
Nice. Good skill.
What? You usually say that, you know, I'm not saying that. Okay. Just found in this friend's name. What did you say more?
Should be able to share.
Well,
It's set, it is set so panelists can share.
worst case scenario, you can just explain it, right?
Yeah.
And I have a copy of it here. I'm trying. Is this the presentation here?
Yeah.
And this is the, oh, I'm gonna hand these out. Sure.
Thank you.
It's. Nice.
So this was not sent to us in advance. No,
Was it not? No.
I mean,
I've got the Old Saybrook Open Space Protection Planning. Is that what it is?
that is, yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have it.
Foundation, unique confluence of land and water, that stuff.
Oh, I have it too,
Okay.
yeah. Oh. So we have this.
Okay.
Yep.
It's too far away to see.
Yeah, Jane.
You don't need to see the
Yeah,
details.
Jane would be able to see it, but
Oh, look, it's not bad. You don't need to see the details. It's. There.
all right, go ahead.
It's outlined in the document. This is just a map presentation of it.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. I have a version of electronically that I can zoom in on.
Don't worry about it. Just explain it and. Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing me to present this evening. I appreciate it. Tonight's a brief introduction to the town's open space protection planning document, which is the second here. The goal is to share what it identifies as priority conservation areas. Most importantly, how it can be a practical reference during town board and commission review for future applications. The content of this document draws directly from the natural resource section of the Old Saybrook Plan of Conservation and Development, which was adopted in July of 2023. The purpose of the presentation tonight is to introduce the open space protection planning document so you're familiar with what it is and how it can be used as a reference. Second, we want to connect the document to the roles of the land use commissions and the boards, because parcels identified here or parcels adjacent to them may come before them through subdivisions, site plans, or other applications. Third, we want to encourage an approach where these properties or neighboring properties come forward, or neighboring properties come forward, we ask that conservation options be part of the conversation where appropriate, such as conservation easements or other preservation methods. Old Saybrook's identity is inseparable from its natural landscape. The town sits at the confluence of the Connecticut River and Long Island Sound, a unique position among shoreline communities. This creates an extraordinary variety of habitats, tidal marshes, freshwater lakes and ponds, forested ridges, and miles of shoreline. These ecosystems are not just scenic, they define the community's character and differentiate Old Saybrook from other towns along the coast. Preserving this natural heritage has been a priority for decades, dating back to the Conservation Commission's first open space plan in 1969. Open space protection serves three essential functions for our community. Clean water, natural areas protect our watersheds, aquifers, and water quality. Inland wetlands, filters and store water, reducing contamination and food risks for residents. Wildlife habitat. Without protection, development can fragment and degrade crucial ecosystems. Pollution and invasive species can tip the balance, replacing native biodiversity with nuisance species that are very difficult to reverse. And quality of life, open space support both active and passive recreation, playgrounds, trails, boat launches, and scenic overlooks. They also drive eco-based tourism and educate visitors through interpretive storyboards placed throughout our parks. Climate change is already affecting Old Saybrook, and open space is one of the best natural defenses. Storm buffering, healthy wetlands and dunes absorb wave energy and reduce storm surge flooding, protecting homes and infrastructures in low-lying areas. Carbon absorption. Our forests moderate temperature extremes, and sequester atmospheric carbon, contributing to broader climate goals and flood risk reduction. Over the next 50 years, sea levels could rise between 6 and 24 inches. Preserving open space and floodplains allows areas for floodwater storage while reducing risk of life and property. There are no hypothetical benefits. These are not hypothetical benefits. They're measured protections that save the town money in avoided damage and reduced infrastructure costs. The guiding principles of stewardship. There are 5 guiding principles which also come directly from the Plan of Conservation and Development. Connectivity, link existing and future open space, waterways, habitats to support wildlife movement and deepen residents' connection to nature. Opportunity, expand public access and inspire active stewardship of rivers, shores, forests, and fields to enrich recreation and the local economy. Preparedness, prioritize critical national assets to reduce flood and storm damage while coordinating with regional and state partners on hazard response. Vitality, promote parks, trails, beaches, and overlooks as essential community gathering spots that strengthen civic pride and sustainability. Direct policies and investments toward actions that enhance environmental health, anticipate climate shifts, advance equity, and support responsible growth. The Conservation Commission reviewed the policies and actions of the Plan of Conservation and Development and prioritized parcels based on these key attributes. First, adjacency to existing protected open space. These parcels expand buffer zones and enhance ecological integrity. Second, habitat connectivity, linking fragmented habitats, creates wildlife corridors essential for genetic diversity and species migration.
Thank you.
Third is public waterfront access. ensuring residents can enjoy and benefit from waterfront areas for recreation and community connection. And fourth, important natural resources, parcels containing wetlands, forests, unique plant species, and other features critical for biodiversity. Any property possessing these attributes should be considered for protection. Parcels on our board here are those that have been specifically identified as priorities. I don't know if you can see those, but these 12 priorities were identified by the Conservation Commission and total 284 acres. They range from 49.70 acres on Schoolhouse Road, which abuts Town Park, Great Cedars West, and contains inland wetlands and forested areas, to the 2.23 acre parcel on College Street, adjacent to existing open space. Particular ecological significance is the Middlesex Turnpike parcel, nearly 33 acres, which contains inland wetlands and acidic Atlantic white cedar swamp.
Is that Earl Enrich's farm?
No, I think that she's referring to the one that's sort of across from Mystic Market.
Oh,
It's between the Route 1 and the highway.
okay,
There's nothing there now.
okay.
I think it's Middlesex Turnpike LLC is doing it. Several Ingham Hill Road parcels connect to the existing Great Cedars Conservation Area, strengthening habitat corridors in that part of town. The Bochum Road parcel at 30 acres would connect to existing open space, and the Mill Rock Road parcel at nearly 55 acres is forested and adjacent to Great Cedars East, with some inland wetlands. A second Middlesex Turnpike parcel at 29 acres is adjacent to town property with access from Brenda Lane and partially falls within a natural diversity database area, potentially home to threatened or endangered species. And the Boston Post Road parcel at nearly 17 acres is part of the Bushnell Farm with inland wetlands that have been used for recreation by the Boy Scouts. The Monk Road parcel at nearly 13 acres is adjacent to Cranberry Pond, inland wetlands, and can provide recreational access. While some of these areas already benefit from wetlands regulations, additional tools such as land acquisition, conservation easements, and purchasing development rights can strengthen protection.
The first property on here is Springbrook Road. Is that the one the land trust is acquiring?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think did they close on that or
They-
close, I think.
We just said the town has spent 20,000. We gave 10 earlier and another 10 2 weeks ago. Because the price went up. And so I don't think they closed on it yet.
I think there'll be some publicity when it does.
Oh,
I think we'll hear about it.
Yeah. Big deal. The 12 priority parcels we just reviewed are situated in relation to these existing protected areas. You can see how several of them, particularly the Ingham Hill Road, Schoolhouse Road, Mill Rock Road, and Monk Road parcels would expand and connect existing conservation lands. The map also illustrates why connectivity is so important. Fragmented green spaces are less effective for wildlife habitats and flood management than connected corridors of protected land. Note the blue areas along the coastline and Connecticut River. These are the areas most vulnerable to sea level and storm surge, reinforcing the importance of maintaining natural buffers. Preservation of land in Old Saybrook matters for several reasons. First, it provides a framework that guides future conservation decisions, giving the commission and town leadership a clear set of priorities when acquisitions or preservation opportunities arise. It also protects the ecological and health and community well-being that define Old Saybrook's character. And it ensures that our natural resources, the wetlands, forests, and open spaces are preserved for future generations to enjoy. Once these lands are lost to development or degradation, they are rarely recoverable. The plan is our commitment to act before that occurs. And finally, it strengthens Old Saybrook's sustainable CT submission. The creation of this document satisfies a key requirement under Action 3.4, helping us earn points towards certification. Just to close, using this plan strengthens consistency with town goals and helps guide conservation decisions incrementally, application by application. So the town doesn't lose critical opportunities simply because these properties weren't flagged early. When any of these parcels identified on this plan or adjacent parcels come before the town, we ask that consideration be made as to whether conservation options are feasible, such as conservation easements, open space set-asides, cluster development approaches were allowed, and protection of wetlands, floodplains, habitats, and connections. This is not about stopping development, it's about preserving the most valuable features when opportunities arise, using the tools available through planning and design. Over time, small decisions add up. The plan helps make sure we don't miss the parcels where preservation would have the greatest long-term value. And by protecting these 284 acres across 12 priority parcels, Saybrook reaffirms its dedication to environmental stewardship, long-term sustainability, and the health and happiness of everyone who calls this beautiful town home. Thank you.
Thank you. So you referenced in there, you said when any of these properties come before the town, they don't necessarily come before the town. I mean, they may come for approvals if they're looking to be developed.
Right.
So they're not necessarily just offered to the town, you know.
No.
I know you know that.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, you know, when we have opportunity, I think we look at it, do a, whether it's cost effective for the town to invest. You know, the David Brown piece is something we're looking at. I don't know what is going on in the probate court. I'll never know how it could take this long. But, you know, that is a property that the town would like to acquire, that we don't want it to be just, not that it would be developed, but it could be, you know?
Mhm.
But how many, I mean, you know, you identify these parcels, and Lynette, you know this better than I mean, when you look at them, are some of these undevelopable, or are these what you've identified as, you know, they could be developed because the wetlands don't cover every piece, every bit of it. I mean, there's so many pieces that we look at that I'm like, oh my God, look at the wetlands on that, you know, and that's why they're undesirable from a development point of view. It's just amazing how many parcels in this town have wetlands on half of them, and they don't look like they do.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, when you look at these parcels, you have to, you know, 30 acres, the town should buy it, but if it's undevelopable, maybe it's okay to, you know.
Thorough analysis wasn't done on all of these parcels, but those that were chosen did appear to have development potential.
Yeah, okay.
And not to say that that's a bad thing, but there are parts of those parcels that should be preserved if possible. So it's just taking a closer look and being aware up front, and even making, you know, the developer aware up front that there are resources on that parcel that are important for preservation, and so maybe they'll plan it so that those are protected.
So the properties that are listed in here, do you know who the owners are? Has anybody inquired? And
We have not.
And contacted them?
what?
When you say inquired, what do
I
you
mean,
mean?
inquired, or I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess inquired and saying, you know, what are your plans? But you know who the owners are. You've like looked at them to the point where you know who the owners are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna look them up.
I have all that, I can send it to you.
Yeah,
We just didn't want to put it in the public document.
Yeah.
For the owners.
it's public record.
It is,
So,
yeah.
send it to me. I'd like to just look at the parcels and look at the owners, and not that we're gonna go on a spree, but.
Mhm. But even if they come forth, maybe we could say so many acres of this property, maybe we can put a conservation easement.
That frequently does happen through zoning but no, I hear what you're saying, especially when they're adjacent to open space.
Yeah, we'd like to finish the donut there for Cedar West, Cedar, Great Cedars East and West.
Complete the connections you have.
Jane?
Yep.
If you have any questions, you know, I wanna, you're online.
No, I wasn't sure. There were some properties that aren't on the list that you mentioned. Is there a reason why you didn't specifically list those?
We didn't put them on the list?
Yeah,
I think that the document does say that this is not a complete list.
Yeah.
This is just a sample of what was identified, and any parcels that meet the criteria outlined in this document should be considered for protection
Okay.
of natural resources.
all right,
Yeah, I appreciate the work on it.
yeah, no. Appreciate, yeah, it is, it's good work, it's good to identify the parcels, certainly. But send me more detailed information, just kind of curious.
Sure.
Scott?
Always intriguing. I was part of the land acquisition
Right.
committee for years, so it's neat to know of these opportunities. And when and if we can take advantage of them, you know, and it's right. I think it's a good idea to have those in our radars.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah, thank
we're
you
gonna.
for your time.
All right, we're gonna move on. Next item is the special town meeting for the irrigations project's just kind of been sitting out there and Board of Finance approved it. We moved it to the Board of Finance, so it's time to authorize the funding. I've been waiting to see if there's any other items that need a town meeting, but nothing is coming up urgently, so I think this is a good one to just get knocked off and let Anderson Irrigation go ahead and do what they gotta do. So Jane, we're gonna sign this. Scott and I, the call of the town meeting, so I'm gonna move the call. Is there a second?
Second.
And it's just, Jane, you're familiar with the items, right?
Yes, yeah, actually from Park and Rec.
From several months ago.
yeah.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jane, if you wanna sign
Is there-
off.
No, it's okay. I'm good. Yeah, we only have a couple more things, so I can hang in there.
Okay.
Do you want me to stop by and sign that next week? Or
No.
do you guys need to move it forward?
Yeah, we're just gonna put it on,
Okay.
we're gonna get it published in, the paper, so. Discussion possible action on, release of encroachment bond, Hartford Avenue. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The Preserve Ad Hoc Committee, we're looking for a couple folks who want to join it, and Jane, you were at that meeting. Justin Bagnotti came forward and said he'd like to, he was in the room that day.
Yep.
He spoke up, so I'll move Justin's appointment. Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then 3 appointments, the Shellfish Commission. They're probably a little bit more dormant now than they have been in the last few years, but we'll keep them active for now. That is Larry Bonin, David Colvin, and Jason Byers. These are 2-year terms. I'll move their approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Anything else before we vote on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That's it. Jane, have a safe trip back.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday.
Yeah, you'll be there.
Hopefully I'll
Sunday.
be back in the right time zone by then.
All right, very good.
All right. And thanks for all your hard work on that. I know what goes into it. So thank you.
Oh, my God. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people need to be thanked. A a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah, and that's what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to be in event planning, so,
Jennifer's front and center on that. And,
Yeah.
you know, so she's done an amazing job. Okay, I'll move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Aye.